What if you could actually turn back your body's clock? Not with some kind of magic potion, but with science and the crushing pressure of the deep ocean. Well, this is the incredible story of one man who actually tried it. It's a question we've all wondered about forever. We're always looking for ways to extend our lives, to feel younger, healthier for longer. But for the most part, it's always felt like pure science fiction. That is, until Dr. Joseph Dituri, a retired U.S. Navy diver, came along. He decided to run one of the most unique experiments, I think, in human history. And his lab? It wasn't on land. Nope, it was completely submerged under the waves. He called it Project Neptune 100. And the mission goal sounds simple, but the execution was just this extraordinary test of human endurance. He had to live for 100 days straight in an underwater habitat. I want you to just picture this for a second. Your entire world, for more than 3 months, is a tiny 100-square-foot pod. That's about the size of a small bedroom, and it's sitting 22 feet below the surface of the ocean off the coast of Florida. That was his new home. And let me tell you, life down there was extreme. I mean, think about it. 0 sunlight, no fresh air. The pressure inside was constantly 70% higher than what you and I feel on the surface. To even get in or out, he had to dive through an underwater airlock. It was basically total isolation, with food only showing up once every 3 days. But don't get me wrong, this wasn't some adventure stunt. This was a really serious scientific experiment. Dr. Dituri wanted to find out what happens to the human body when you expose it to that kind of sustained, high-pressure environment, what scientists call a hyperbaric environment. So this is where the story goes from this incredible feat of endurance to a potential medical game changer. How on earth could just living under pressure change our basic biology? Well, it all starts with these tiny little things inside our cells called telomeres. So what are they, and why are they so important when we talk about getting older? Okay, think of it like this. Telomeres are like those little plastic tips on the ends of your shoelaces. They protect your DNA every single time your cells divide. But here's the catch. Over time, with every division, those little tips get shorter and shorter. And having shorter telomeres is one of the key signs of aging at a cellular level. And this led to the really wild idea at the heart of this whole experiment. Could living under constant, high pressure actually protect those telomeres? Or, and this is the big one, could it possibly make them longer again? So after he finally completed his mission, Dr. Dituri came back to the surface. And what his medical team found? Well, it was nothing short of astonishing. I mean, the data they collected was so surprising, it left all these experts in human biology and physiology just completely amazed. So, first things first, the big question. His telomeres, those little protective caps on his DNA, they hadn't just stopped getting shorter, they'd actually gotten longer, by about 20%. This was a huge indicator that his cells were actually rejuvenating. And believe it or not, that was just the beginning. His body's stem cells, the master cells that repair everything, they multiplied by 10 times. His inflammation markers were cut in half. And his cholesterol, it dropped 72 points. His body was basically in a state of high-powered, supercharged repair. Even his sleep, which we all know is a cornerstone of good health, completely transformed. The amount of deep, restorative REM sleep he was getting improved dramatically while he was living under the sea. So you take all this data and you put it all together, and the conclusion was just stunning. While his driver's license said he was 56, his biological age, the real measure of his body's health, now matched that of someone a full 10 years younger. That is an absolutely incredible result. But what does it actually mean for all of us who aren't planning on moving into an underwater pod anytime soon? It's really important to look at the whole picture here. The pressure was a key ingredient for sure, but it wasn't some magic bullet. These results came from a very specific combination of things. The pressure, yes, but also a very carefully monitored diet, his own incredible physical conditioning, and constant medical supervision. And this is a really critical point. This was a risky, expensive, and super controlled experiment. So please, don't get any ideas. Trying to do anything like this without that level of expert supervision would be extremely dangerous. You see, the real lesson from Dr. Dituri's journey isn't that we found the fountain of youth. It's about understanding that our biological age can be very different from our chronological age. The goal here isn't to stop time, but to improve our health so we can live better, more vibrant lives for a whole lot longer. Dr. Dituri's experiment really pushed the boundaries of what we all thought was possible. It's a great reminder that scientific curiosity can lead us to some truly incredible places. And as we get better and better at understanding our own biology, it really leaves all of us with a pretty profound question. If science can slow the clock, how are we going to choose to spend that time?